Hello, today we're introducing double stopping. Double stopping means you play two strings at the same time. Like that. Yeah. The way to do it is to look at where your bow touches the string. Make sure it touches both strings. Relax your hand and pull the bow across. You have to keep on doing, obviously, the straight bowings as we've done before. The relaxed hand, relaxed shoulder. The upper arm position is going to decide whether you hit two strings at the same time or not. Yeah. Now, another way of doing double stopping, which I see a lot of my students do, is by pushing down until your bow hits two strings. A bit like. It's a horrible noise, and the reason I'm introducing double stopping already in the first chapter is for intonation. If you want to tune your instrument, you need to be able to double stop, at least if you want to do it using your ears. You can use a gadget, of course, one of those tuners, but you want to learn to use your ears to decide whether you're in tune. In the second chapter as well, I use double stopping in order for you to improve your intonation, the placement of the fingers. But obviously you want your instrument to be in tune before you start working with this. So you want to learn to use your ears to tune your instrument, if at all possible, as soon as possible. Because your ears are the main guide to whether you're doing things right. When you're relaxed, the rest is going to come from whether you like what you hear. That's where your decisions should come from. Yeah, doing everything right but sounding horrible isn't particularly useful if you want to make music. So I'm introducing this for you to learn to play in tune, but I want you to do everything quiet today. It's not about virtuosity, it's about bow control. This is why I'm also not going to repeat this exercise like I did before, 40, 50, 60, 69, 80. I'm just going to record it on 40, forcing you to stay slow and to look for bow control and a beautiful sound. Those are the priorities, yeah. Not virtuosity. Virtuosity will come over time. First priority now is to learn to play double stopping so you can use it for tuning. And for tuning you need to play quiet. And that kind of bow control, that's what this exercise is about today. So we're going to go at 40. And the first exercise, as always, will be the easiest one. We're going to do 4 beats, the lowest 2 strings, up, down bow and up bow, followed by the middle 2 strings, followed by the highest 2 strings and the way back. Yeah? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very straightforward, but very important. If you don't have much time, spend all your time on this exercise, because this is what's important. This is what you will be using for tuning, this is what you will be using for bow control. Everything else in this exercise, obviously things are going to get more interesting, more difficult, but this is the most important part of this entire exercise. It's not virtuosity, it's a beautiful, even sound across two strings. The rest I'm offering you anyway, but only if you have the time, only if this one is under control, yeah? So next we are going to slur 2 double stops. So 2 notes, 2 beats on the lowest string, and then 2 beats on the middle 2 strings. Now you have to start the rotation of your bow before the beginning of the second beat. So I would say halfway through the second beat, so 1, 2, and now I'm only playing the second half of the second beat, I'm only playing the middle string, in this case the D, until I hit the next double stop, and then I stay there. And then when we go back, it's the same thing. We start rotation and we arrive at the double stop. What you want to do is eventually, over time, to control when you arrive at the other double stop. In this case it's 2 beats for the first note, so at the beginning of the third beat you would want to be at the next double stop. Now don't immediately drop your arm, it's all about smoothness, about control. So learn to judge when you have to start dropping your arm, so you only play one string for a little bit, yeah? And then you'll have time to get smoothly to the A string and sustain the double stop A, D. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's that. Next we're going to make a combination of the first bar of the previous exercise, so 2 beats, turn, and then between the bow changes you have to rotate back. And then the same thing for the higher 2 strings, and then the same thing backwards, as we always do. So now 1 string change during a bow, 1 string change between each bow. Yeah? Good luck. 1, 2, 3, 4. lots of different changes happening, but with all these repeats it should become easier. Yeah. Next we're going to do a pattern that involves all strings. So far we've had 2 strings, 3 strings, now 4 strings. So first bar, again the same, 2 beats lowest 2 strings, 2 string beats middle strings, and 4 beats on the highest strings. And then the same thing in reverse, and we'll repeat this because it's very short. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, simple. And now we're going to skip the middle 2 strings. We're going to jump immediately from the lowest 2 strings to the highest 2 strings. So then we're going to gently drop our arm and raise it again. Yeah. So we'll do this a couple of times, 4 times up and down, and then halfway this exercise it changes. This is 2 exercises squashed together, because now the second half we're going to have similar first bar, but then we have to rotate silently back to the lowest 2 strings like that. Yeah, but then very slow and very quiet. Yeah, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this brings us to the last exercise. We're going to do twice as fast a bow. It's one beat, one bow. Middle string highest, immediately back, up and down. It's a 3-beat bar. You see at the beginning it's 3-4. That means that one bar will start on the down bow. It's an uneven bowing pattern, so next bar will start on an up bow. So the string changes are going to always be in different places. After 4 bars we reverse the entire thing. And then we get to the last bar. Now the last bar has 4 notes, white notes, minims, with a dot behind. That means that note is 2 beats for the minim plus the dot, which means half the length of the note it's attached to, so that makes it 3 beats altogether, so 2 plus 1 is 3 beats. Now you can't sustain, press down hard enough, you really don't want to try to sustain 4 strings. So what we're going to do is very similar to the previous exercise where we did that, but now we're going to redivide the bow. We're going to use very little bow on the first 2 notes, and as soon as they sound nice, I'm going to drop our arm to the highest 2 strings and sustain most of the bow on the highest 2 strings. Don't drop too far. You want to sustain a double stop. You don't want to end up just on the E string. Yeah, so little drop and sustain that for the whole bar. So 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3. And that's it for double stopping. As I mentioned, yes, it requires a lot of control, but it's mainly the first exercise where I would place my focus. The rest, yes, of course, it's really interesting, but for double stopping and intonation work and tuning your instrument and tuning your fingers later in the next chapter, this first exercise has to be so well controlled so you can concentrate on what you're hearing while you use it together with either tuning your instrument or with your left hand. Okay, good luck with this, and as I said, there will be no repeats of this exercise because I want you to take it slow and get that beautiful sound and control. That is the focus here. Okay, take care and see you soon. Bye.